G'day mate, and welcome back to Oxygen Not Included with me, Jedi. Today I really want to go over how I automatically reseed my different stables with the eggs that I'm automatically taking out of the room. So before we get to this, I want to go back a couple of steps and look at how I actually set up both the stone hatch and the standard hatch ranch to start with, or stables, whatever you want to call them. And how I automated both these tasks before I automated really how to keep a seed population running, and at the same time possibly evolve your excess critters into their media form so your duplicates can eat them. So to start with, I have stone hatches. Now, stone hatches are not the critters I want to actually keep. I actually would like to keep stone hatches, mainly because of the difference in diet. Choice is entirely up to you. I did have a person in the comments remind me that sage hatches actually output a lot more coal for the amount that they take in. So if you want to breed sage hatches, obviously you'd have to feed them something different. But in this example, we're going from normal hatch to stone hatch. So to get a stone hatch, I need to feed these guys sedimentary rock. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I have a storage bin down here that is storing a whole bunch of crap, mainly sedimentary rock. I've got a conveyor loader down here that is just bringing in sedimentary rock, nothing else, and an auto sweeper doing the task for me. I could tick on allow manual use and have the dupes do it, entirely up to you. Bringing this material up to here into a conveyor receptacle. As you can see, this is set to a priority 1. It's set really, really low, because it's going to go to a priority 2 critter feeder. I do not want the duplicates doing this. I've set the priority super, super low, so hopefully the duplicates will do any other task on the map. The auto sweeper is going to grab from the receptacle, throw it in the critter feeder. It's going to then feed the critters, and we just had one of these hatches just burp out a egg, which will show us the next part of the demo. The conveyor loader, I've actually got this set to a higher priority because the duplicates can't access this. But if the auto sweeper has a choice between the conveyor receptacle into the critter feeder or picking up eggs or coal, because they're the two things that have been ticked for this one. I've been lazy and ticked all eggs, but basically all eggs is one of the things you want to ship out anyway. It'll grab that egg rather than filling up the machine, because whilst that egg is in that room, these guys have a cramped debuff, which means that reproduction is not going back up until that egg is picked up, shipped out, and as soon as it's left the room, there we go. We've got our reproduction back up. So as soon as that egg passes through that wall tile, our reproduction's gone back up. So that's going to ship out all my eggs, being both, technically these guys are still also going to ship out, where are we? Where's one guy that's... Well, they still have a fairly high chance to get hatchling eggs, but as they get older, as they eat more sedimentary rock, obviously that's going to move across to higher and higher chance of a stone hatch, which is really the critter I want. So I've done the exact same thing over here with my stone hatches. Stone hatches, I have a couple of different choices in their diet. These guys I'm actually feeding igneous rock, because I've got plenty of igneous rock. Igneous rock, sedimentary rock are both items you have really in abundance. I am using sedimentary rock to seed my hatches, so I might as well use the igneous rock for the stone hatches. Same story, got a storage bin, got a conveyor loader, got an auto sweeper, conveyor receptacle, into the auto sweeper, into the critter feeder. Honestly, these should be a lower priority. I didn't change these. And then out again, same story. I'm shipping out both the consumable ore and the eggs. And as you can see with both these rooms, I actually linked to the top right hand corner, back to how I actually set up both these ranches in more explanation, along with all the different critter types that I've covered so far in a playlist. But yeah, these are both stables. They're both 96 tiles in size, so this is the maximum size, and then we're shipping all that material out. Now if we go to the conveyor overlay, you can see I've split them down here because I've actually got two different examples of how I set up my... I call these a hatchery because, like I said, hatches are really the first critter you find and you deal with. And this is just how I incubate the eggs to reseed these populations, or if I want to go out and make more stables with hatches, puffs, whatever the critter happens to be, I already have a seed population to start with. So we're bringing all that into a conveyor chute. That conveyor chute's dropping it straight on the ground. So it's going to drop the eggs and the coal in the case of hatches, but as I said, it all depends on what critter you actually have. Different critters have different outputs. You know, in the case of Drecos, it'll be your phosphorite along with your reed fiber or your plastic after you shear them. Basically, I drop everything into a single one tile for me to deal with it later. From here, I have 2 conveyor loaders. So I'm dropping multiple different items into this one tile. I want to sort them out. I have my coal being shipped out one side, and on the other side I actually have the egg shells, because the eggs are going to be cracked in this room. Either through them birthing naturally or through one of the incubators. So, back to the conveyor overlay. I'm shipping my eggshell one side, I'm shipping my coal the other. Where you ship it is up to you. Obviously, your coal, you probably ship straight to the coal generators. The eggshell, you just ship to wherever your rock granulator is, or whatever it's called nowadays. The name keeps changing. Rock crusher. Wherever the rock crusher is to turn that eggshell into lime to make further steel. So, this is how I've set up my incubator room. Now, this incubator room is designed to take power. I have 2 different builds down here. They're fairly similar. All depends on how big you really want the room. And I've used this example to actually use power. The next one doesn't use basically any power. So, these guys are all chewing power. Because they're chewing power, the duplicates can come in and actually lullaby the eggs. There used to be a small exploit where you could power them up, have a duplicate come along and sing the eggs a lullaby, and then power them down. Unfortunately, it looks like Clay has actually patched that bug, and if your incubators are without power for too long in a cycle, they'll actually use that lose that lullaby buff. So, normally, just left in an incubator, unpowered, we get a base incubation of 5% per cycle. If we lullaby them, which is a duplicate comes in and gives the egg a big cuddle and a kiss, we get an extra 20% bonus on top of that. So it means from this little room, I can breed 1 stone hatch per cycle. Obviously, larger room, more setups, you could be able to breed them a lot faster. On top of that, all my little hatchling eggs, which are the ones I don't really want, because these are set to just doing stone hatches. Actually, let's go through that as well. So, the biggest thing with these incubators is they really need to be in the room of that auto super, because we're trying to remove any duplicate labor from this whole process. So, in here, I have them set to stone hatches. Yep. On continuous. If I hit the incubate button, I have idle dupes, so this might fail me. Yeah, it's going to fail me. Alright, if I remove access dupes, if I hit incubate now, the auto sweeper, come on, has chosen a different egg to throw in there instead. So, the biggest thing about this is, yeah, you really want to make sure that that incubator can access this whole room and refill each one of these. The auto sweeper can access each one of those incubators, and then the duplicates only have to come in to sing a new lullaby. Now, the duplicates do have one other job that they need to complete. That is when these critters actually are born. So when a stone hatchling is born, or actually we've got a stone. Can I have a live hatchling, please? Here we go. If I put a hatchling up here and we click their show navigation, they can't actually exit this room. They can't jump out of this one tile block. They're really, really stuck. And that is by design. I really want all my hatchlings stuck down in this one tile square so they can't get out, they can't pathfind, they can't cause lag upon the game. At the same time, I have my critter drop-off. My critter drop-off is set to store hatchlings and stone hatches. Because whilst they're babies, I don't really want to move them out of this room. Whilst they're babies, I don't have to feed them. I don't have to take care of them. I don't have to pat them. They're perfectly fine and perfectly happy and perfectly fine, even being overcrowded. Overcrowded just means out of their starting calories, they're actually going to be consuming less calories because that overcrowding debuff. So it's less things that I have to worry about as far as the little hatchlings are concerned. After they've aged 5 cycles and they're fully grown up, the critter drop-off will kick in and say, hey, you are no longer a hatchling or a stone hatch, and then those critters actually have to be dealt with. So if I just grab a stone hatch and throw him in this room, come on, duplicates, register that there's a critter in this room. There we go. So, who's this? Nails? Nails has come along. Nails is singing. Nails is dancing. Nails has called that stone hatch over, who he's going to tie up and then safely transport to wherever he needs to go. As this room, it actually has 7 out of 8 critters, so one of them's obviously died off. Nails is going to take him up to here and drop him off here. As you can see, the priority on this is set to fairly high. It's set to 7. So that means this room is going to be the first one repopulated. This one's set to 6. So this is going to be the second room repopulated. if Nals has a choice between a stone hatch and a normal hatch. I really want the stone hatch room repopulated as fast as possible. Finally, I have my final resting place for all my other hatches. Now, this room is entirely up to you. There are ways to fully automate this, which I'll actually cover in a later video. But this room down here is my sort of my excess. It's all my other critters that I don't really have a use for. They have a little bit of room to pathfind in. Honestly, you could just build them straight into a one-tile square so they have no room to path whatsoever. And in here, you've got a couple of choices. You can either leave them to die from old age or starvation. That's entirely up to you. If I have one... Where's a tame one? There we go, a tame one. So these guys are a glum. If I put a roof on here, hopefully we can overcrowding debuff as well. Overcrowded as well. So they're not going to consume a lot of calories. They're going to take a very, very long time to die of starvation. But as these guys live for 100 cycles, they probably will die of starvation. And that's entirely up to you guys. You can have them die of starvation. Realistically, this is your excess supply at the moment. So these guys are really only useful for evolving into their meatier, tastier form. And that's really what we want them for. Now, you can send the duplicates in here to fight out with the hatches and evolve them that way. I will warn you that a normal hatch has a health of 25, a stone hatch has a health of 200, and these guys will fight your duplicates back. So that is something you need to keep in mind. You do have a couple of options. You can build some ladders in here and that sort of stuff to hopefully keep the duplicates out of arm's reach. Your other option, which we're actually going to cover in this room. So, as I said, this is my powered version. This is my unpowered version. Same story as above. I've just got a few more incubators in here. These are all set to, again, stone hatches with a low priority, so hopefully the auto super does things. No, of course it's not. Gosman's going to come up here and do it. Whatever. This one is set up very much the same as the other one. It has two drop-off. It has the drop-off as well, along with the sorters. So we're sorting the coal out to the right. We're sorting the lime out to the left. The auto super should be able to repopulate these incubators as long as your dupes aren't idle. As I said, this is a test base, so mine are very, very idle. But your other option you have is, I have stone hatchlings down here. So once you... I'm choosing to keep a seed population of 6 in this room. Now, 6 is really all I'm going to need to repopulate a room that only has 8 in it. Realistically, 6 is enough to repopulate, like, repopulate a population of probably about 40 or 50. So I don't need these extra hatchlings down here. I can, rather than waiting for them to age up to the age of 5, have a duplicate come, pick them up from the critter drop-off, dump them down, pick them up from this room, dump them in this room for me to deal with later. I can choose to very, very early on automatically evolve these guys into their media form by just putting them in a little bit of water. If we look at the stone hatchling now, he doesn't actually have a drowning marker on him, but if I move some eggs out of the way, hopefully we can see him. Do I have enough water in there? No, I don't. So you need 951 kilos of water. So if I add 2 more kilos to this puddle, there we go. So now he's actually drowning. That is a condition. You do need 951 kilos to have enough water in here that your stone hatchlings or even your stone hatches, most critters need 951 kilos to have them start drowning. And that's really what I want to do. I want to start evolving them right now into their media form because I have enough of a seed population. Obviously, eggs are going to come in here first. The auto super is going to be grabbing whatever eggs are not ready to go in an incubator. So if I remove you and get that egg out of the range and remove you, move that egg and that egg, and we're going to put this egg back down here and then tick this back on. As you can see, because the auto sweeper can reach things, it's going to automatically seed them. So we're going to always make sure that we have enough in this room. Do you want to set those priorities lower? Because I want this crap dealt with first. Do not enter dupes. I hate you, auto sweeper. Yeah, the duplicate's got the priority. There we go. Gossman's decided to come do it. But Like I said, we can automatically evolve our little hatchlings at this stage straight into their media form, rather than waiting for the duplicates to then pick them up and take them elsewhere. Now, once he has automatically evolved, as you see, I've got 3,200 kilocalories worth of meat. If I take a stone hatch, dump him down here and tell the duplicates to deal with him. Quickly. Very, very quickly. And wait for the game to process him. Yep. We also get 3,200 kilocalories out of a stone hatch or a hatch in their adult form. So you don't actually lose any food by having them, you know, automatically evolve at an earlier stage. But, you know, it can be done. It can be done whilst they're hatchlings to minimize the amount of time your duplicates need to spend running around doing things. As you can see, Gossman has taken a little bit of damage. He's taken 4 hit points worth of damage dealing with that hatch. It is something you need to keep in mind. Your other option is you can always just come in here, turn this off for a moment, auto-wrangle all these guys so they're all tied up. When they're tied up, they don't actually attack back, and have your duplicates clear them that way. Clear them that way. Last thing you can do is you can set up just a little bit of, you know, a door up here, pump some water into a tank up here, dump the water in on these guys, and then pump it back out, back into a storage tank when all these guys have automatically evolved, and set that up mainly fairly manually. Maybe you can automate it. I will be having a follow-up video that covers how to automatically evolve all the different critters. Most of them can be drowned, but there are a few that you cannot actually drown. Slicksters come to mind, poke shells come to mind. There are a couple of critters that you cannot evolve that way. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. As always, if you like this video, click the like button. If you'd share it with your friends, I'd very much appreciate it. So would the YouTube magic algorithm engine. At the same time, if you want to see more tutorial videos like this, by all means, click the subscribe button. As I said, I am going to have an upcoming video that will show you how to automatically evolve most of your critters into their media form. Anyway, that's it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, bye.